Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Sports Talk Network, and welcome here to this review of Riverdale Review Dale. My review and everything, or review and series review of Riverdale TV show on the CW with the sexy and beautiful Lily Reinhardt, part of the cast. Indeed. But anyways, let's actually talk about the episode, talk about the show. Here with my notes in regards to saying, who? All right, sorry, trying to get to my notes. I remember when, yeah, remember when Edgar was wearing a leather jacket and preparing up to blast a rocket into the sky? That was just a week ago, but still those days. Because now we're dealing with trials, Jughead versus Brad, chapter 20, and the worst offender of them all, Vigilante Archie. Excuse me, sorry about that. So the good news is that Archie is still wearing his Halloween costume. The bad news is that he's found himself a mask and now spends his night patrolling the shadows of Sketch Alley. Well, if the name is any indication, at least he's in the right place, right? As Jughead puts it, every town gets the hero it deserves. So I'm not sure what Riverdale has done, but apparently it deserves Archie, the vigilante who gets hit with mace on his second outing. Honestly, give the girl your mask. She's earned it. While we're on the Archie story, let's dig in, shall we? Apparently, Archie, a teenager himself, is now responsible for molding the young men of Riverdale with his community center. Do we want all to start fighting Barons? Who knows? He and Monroe are trying to make a difference within the community center, but when they find out that some of the kids at their center run with Dodger, they kick him out. As they explain, those kids will either end up in Juvie or dead, and as Monroe tells them, trust us, you don't want to go to Juvie, but also you probably don't want to die either. Sorry, just checking some things here. All right. Not surprisingly, it doesn't take long for FP to show up. It seems local business owners have been lodging complaints against the center, and FP recognizes the move. The serpents used to deal with it all the time. Serpents used to deal with it all the time. No one wants a gang around. This isn't really a gang, but sure. Anyways, FP advises Archie to do what the serpents used to. Have the neighbors over for a clam bake. Let's all see one let that sink in. But anyways, naturally Archie ignores the advice and instead holds a press conference where he bullies his neighbors into joining his cause by reminding them that the sheriff is his best friend's dad. And he gives them all some friendly advice to get out of my way. Again, this is a teen. But hey, it is what it is. And surprisingly, one of them doesn't. A business owner comes to Archie and explains that they all pay Dodger a protection fee. So when Dodger asks them to complain about the community center, they did it. And that's why Archie ends the episode by putting on his mask and going to Dodger with a declaration of war. Leave town or Archie will paralyze him? I guess. Whatever. But anyways, elsewhere, Betty gets Kevin to join her at FBI training class, which turns out to be a real mistake. When Betty seems to possess the gift of identifying serial killers, in case that took professionals years to crack, simply by seeing their photos, she starts to wonder if it's because she has the serial killer genes, a phase that will never get old, but hey, whatever. Betty goes to the doctor to confirm that she has the genes, and then starts to panic every time Charles brings up a serial killer trait because she has them all. Cruelty in her youth, she diaries, she has tons of them, but here's the thing, her diaries are covered in flowers and kept in a hat box, and she killed her cat after it was hit by a car, and her father forced her to put it out of its misery. So odds are Betty's not a serial killer, obviously. But she is, however, finally growing suspicious of Charles. So for now, she and Kevin are going to stay in the FBI training program to keep an eye on this half brother, who also has a serial killer genes, and it's so questionable he belongs in Sketch Alley. See what I did there? Dun-dun-dun. Switching gears to Veronica, she's dealing with the two papers she had to write: her mother's trial and her father's upcoming trial, and also her secret sister. So basically, what happens is that Veronica comes up with a plan to free her mom. Hermione pleads guilty, and then Veronica blackmails the governor until he pardons Hermione, and it works. But the problem is that Hiram is also set free. See, when Hiram needed help, his secret daughter, Hermosi, who also loves Burroughs, I guess, showed up in town and started recording Veronica's conversation with federal prosecutors, which resulted in the prosecution dropping the charges against Hiram. So now not only is Hiram a free man, but apparently he's running for mayor. I'd say that's insane, but I'd like to remind you all that FP is sheriff despite having no qualifications. In fact, being a gang leader means he's the opposite of qualified, but it is what it is. And speaking of FP, let's wrap things up with Jughead's story this week, which has everything to do with Baxter Brothers mystery books. Jughead learns that Mr. Shipping is the latest ghostwriter of his favorite series from when he was a boy. In fact, that makes him pull out his old books and take a walk down memory lane. And when the originator of the series shows up at the school and remembers Jughead's grandfather, Jug starts asking FP questions. But if there's one thing FP hates talking about, it's his dad. So with no answers from Dad, Jughead returns to school to win a game of murder, which is a very intuitive title for a murder mystery game. He then discovers that he's at the school not because of his writing, but because he's a charity case. Apparently, it's a thing the school does every year, taking in one student and whatnot. Initially, Jughead wants to quit Stonewall Prep, but FP doesn't let him. Instead, he tells Jug that it was his grandfather, FP's father, who sent him the Baxter Brothers books growing up, and when Jug discovers that each book is missing a page, where his grandfather wrote him a note, he enters the school's competition to become the next ghostwriter of the series. There you go. But last but not least is the latest flash forward. FP barges into the school and arrests Betty, Veronica, and Archie. The cold-blooded murder of my son, Jughead Jones. So what can I say? Is he really dead? Again, all in all, a great episode, and I certainly did enjoy it, obviously. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how it all goes. I'm moving forward. As I'm sure it will. But either way, shall be muy interesante in that regard. Riverdale is a great episode. It's a great show. This episode was great in its own right. But anyways, thanks for watching the review. Let me know what you think. Welcome to like the video. YouTube algorithm thing. So leave a comment. You can find me on my personal handle at army_strong_06. You can find me on Instagram at StephenK_06 and on Snapchat at StevieK_06. And for the Twitter game or the Twitter Whodunit game, the next one to play is called Whodunit Double Teamed. If you have not found a tag team partner yet, if you want to give it a shot, like my friends Malik and Kyron, if you had time in the evenings and give it a shot and play the game, you're welcome to apply as a team. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and above all else, as always, take care.